3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Concern Hotline got started in 1968 here in Virginia, Winchester. Okay? They started it because they were concerned about the Vietnam veterans who were returning home and having difficulty adjusting to society after being in the war. Concern Hotline is 24 hours, but people have 2 to 4 hour shifts. We have backup. There is a main office here in Winchester, Virginia, over by the, where United Way is, right off Cameron. There is an executive director and a volunteer coordinator who are there every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to like 5. Okay. I'm on the board of directors. Of course, you know me as middle school social studies teacher, also the librarian here. But I've been with Concern Hotline since 2007, when my daughter was the volunteer coordinator. She got me involved with it, and I was trained to be an active listener. For many years, I took calls. The percentage of calls, the greatest percentage of calls is for referral. I'm new to Winchester, I don't know where to go to get this, that, another thing. Or I'm having trouble with bullies in school, what should I do? Or there's a breakup in a relationship and they're just very upset, they're very angry, they don't know what to do. Most times people call just because they want to talk to somebody. It's often, and it's often not even the most critical types of calls. The most critical types of calls is like 10 or 11 down on our list of calls that we get. Often it's, as I said, people just want to vent. People may need to know about information of Winchester. And often when it gets cold, people need a place to stay or they need money. So.
Great. Any questions?
Any questions?
Now, do you go to a facility, or can you people just call you on your phone, or do you actually go to the?
Well, there's a phone call that is a link. Nobody has my phone number or my real name. Any of the volunteer callers, any of the volunteer listeners, there's a central location that they call, and then they call us.
Okay, so you don't have to leave.
No, we can do it right in our own homes.
Awesome.
Most of us do. There are a few people that go to the office because they prefer to be there.
Okay.
But most volunteer listeners are in their own home.
Great.
And it's 24 hours.
How young can someone be to be an active listener? Like, what's the youngest age?
I'm going to say 18.
18, okay.
Right now, we're partners, for lack of a better word, with a doctor psychologist over at Shenandoah University, and many of his students are required to take the training.
Okay.
Many of them become active listeners with us.
So what you said, talking about active listening, like training, like, can you give us examples of maybe like could we be active listeners here at school, or like what does that require? What would be some tips you could give us to be active listeners?
Absolutely, and let me use what you just said as an example. So if I hear you correctly, you're interested in knowing what we would need to do and how we could become an active listener?
That is my question.
Okay. So it would be open-ended questions. Ava, you're new to this school. Is there anything in particular that you like about it or you don't like about it? And not, let me change that. You're gonna clip that. Or you can keep it. What is your favorite thing about Winchester, now that I know you're new to this area? It might not be, but you know, you get the point that it's open-ended, all right? It's not a yes or no question that we would ever ask. Does that make sense? Right? The other side of it would be, Ava, I know you're new to this area and you can't possibly like Virginia. You can't possibly like Winchester. So we would never ask a question like that. And we would never ask a negative question, right? It would always be a positive spin. Somebody comes to us and they're very upset about a situation they're in, and they're very upset about what to do when they don't know what to do, or they think they don't know what to do. We would say to them, if you had an opportunity, what might you do? The other thing we might say to them is, I understand what you're saying, and I hear that you're very upset, and you're very angry, but is there something you could do to maybe change it? The other big thing we might ask is, what's the biggest piece of this that has you upset?
So you're not actually telling them what to do, you're asking them questions like, what do you think? And at the same time, you are letting them know, like you're almost like repeating what they said so that they know that you heard them.
Exactly.
So those two things, letting people know that you're listening and then responding with another
Exactly.
question.
Exactly.
Preferably a question that's not a yes or no question.
Exactly, and repeating back to them what they said, so they have to think about what they said, is one of the active listening
Okay.
skills.
Last question.
What if you got
Nice and
an
loud.
important call, but you're doing something else really important?
That rarely happens. It has happened, but normally what would happen is, if a phone call came in to me, and I was already on a phone call with, this is a great question, with something that was very important, we always have a backup. So that call then would be sent to somebody else.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions?
Great question, Gary.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Tintel.
You're welcome.
I think one question we said is, in terms of like coffee, like we were thinking like, could we give like our callers coffee? Like, is that something that you think would be a good?
Maria had said that, and normally they're 4-hour shifts, and most of them are at their own home.
So okay, so that's not necessarily something
Right.
we could bring. Okay.
Right. But they always appreciate cookies or something that can be sent to the main office.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much.